Hello everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful night. I still look very dreary because I'm still fighting my sickness. The flu sucks, but regardless, let's talk about digital games. Now look, digital games make it a lot easier for anyone to purchase games across the world without having to have thousands of games within their home. Some people just can't deal with that, so they prefer having a digital collection. It's fine, the convenience there is definitely there, but back in my day, and my god, am I old, digital games used to cost less than physical games because you didn't have to buy like the disc and all this stuff. It made a lot more sense, but the opposite happened. Digital games became more pricey. These things started to have less quality, less stuff in them. It was ridiculous. And now you see the other horrible part of having a digital collection, because at any time they can remove the content and you won't have access to it. Now we're talking about Spec Ops The Line. Now Spec Ops The Line may not be a glorified game like Call of Duty or Final Fantasy, but when it came out, it actually did have a very strong audience. I played the game. It's actually a really good military shooter. I'm not sure if it had multiplayer, but it was definitely the single player that was the coup de grace with the game, and it is a terrific game. And the thing is, a lot of people could have access to it. You could download it on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. It had it readily available. It was a really good game, and now it's being delisted everywhere due to licensing issues, not just the Steam store, but all digital stores. So if you have a physical release, you're good. Now, I did test this because I do own it on Steam. As long as you purchased it on Steam prior to this, you can still access it. But the thing is, it just shows how alarming this is. The game that a lot of people thought they would have access to no longer have access to it. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to sail the seas, because, look, it's like what Gabe Newell said. If you make piracy a lot more difficult, people will not engage with it. But if you make buying the game easier, yeah, they will buy the game. The other option is economic issues. There are people who do not purchase games because of economic issues. I think Thor from Pirate Software said it best. He said, like, for example, in Brazil, they have a huge piracy issue, not because people don't want the games, it's because they just can't afford them. And he does a very brilliant way of discounting the game so people can afford it there, his game, Heartbound. Regardless, this is just going to encourage people to pirate this game, because, look, I don't encourage piracy, but how are people going to play this game? This is a major issue because a lot of games get delisted this way. The reason Spec Ops is getting delisted is because of a licensing issue, and 2K just doesn't want to renew the license, because why would they? It's just not worth it. No one's buying the game. It's just, a waste of money for them. So they just said, whatever, just let it go. And this also happens for other big name games like Transformers Fall for Cybertron and War for Cybertron. Beloved Transformers games that a lot of people consider the best of the best within the IP. You can't buy it. You have to get a physical copy, or again, go through emulation in order to play these games. I've heard lots of people asking, how do I play this game? I had my physical copies for my Xbox 360, which still work because my Xbox 360 thankfully still works. I don't know how it still works because they're also really prone to failure, but so far so good. The Spider-Man series, for example, Shattered Dimension and Edge of Time, both you cannot purchase these games legally per se. You could get it through third party, but because of licensing issues, you're out of luck. And it's becoming more and more alarming with other digital services, such as with Amazon, where they stated that some people were losing access to content they purchased. Now, I can't find it on Google, but Google used to offer, or at least I hope they still offer, that if you can't access the digital content, they either give you a refund or try and replace it with a physical piece of media. But that's becoming more and more difficult because Walmart is apparently discontinuing physical games. Best Buy is discontinuing physical media as well, at least for movies. It's not been confirmed with games. Xbox, apparently during their mass layoff of 1,900 people, completely destroyed their physical departments, which makes sense because Starfield and Halo Infinite both didn't launch with the game complete on the disc, which makes no sense. Why would you buy the game on the disc if it didn't have the game on the disc? It makes no sense. Like with Armored Core 6. Like, for some reason, From Software still remains the freaking GOAT because they still sell their games for $60, no predatory microtransactions, and they sell a feature-complete game, and you get the full game on the disc. Like, you could buy Armored Core 6 and play it, No online connection required. Even Cyberpunk 2077, no matter how crappy the 1.0 update is, you can put that game into your Xbox or your PlayStation 4 and play the 1.0 update with all its bugs and issues. So the reason you should be alarmed about this is because if they're going to do this for very small titles like Spec Ops The Line, they're going to start doing it for a lot of other smaller titles that you probably love. You're probably going to be like, hey, maybe down the line someone wanted to play this on Steam. And that's the brilliant thing about Steam. Most people go to Steam that play older games because it's usually the default platform for older games like Psychonauts. Psychonauts is a really good example of a game that's been held together by preservation, or just put it on Steam and just allow the modding community to fix it. A lot of modders fix older games so people can enjoy them. They just put them out there and say, well, there's a mod to fix this. For example, Manhunt. Manhunt you cannot play on PC in its default form when you get it on Steam because it cannot operate with modern hardware. And guess who came and fixed it all? Modders. Modders develop tools in order to resolve all the issues within the game. Granted, it runs really well on Xbox through its emulation system for the Xbox Series X, but yeah, you should be worried about all this because as games get older, hardware starts to fail and people have less and less options in order to play these games. As I stated, with Spec Ops The Line, yeah, it runs pretty well on PC, but when you have a game like Transformers or Spider-Man, where you have to have agent hardware in order to run these games, which the Xbox 360 is 10 years old now, and getting parts in order to repair the console, well, you have to find a specialist who's willing to do that and hope they're not going to charge you an arm and a leg, because older consoles can run up to even higher prices than PS4s and Xbox Ones now. Like, I saw a Super Nintendo for $300. So yeah, this is just becoming more and more alarming that companies just don't want you to own your product. I mean, you don't own your product when it comes to digital sales. You own a key to access that game as long as the service is available, until like a company like Nintendo decides to shut down the 3DS shop and Wii U shop. Guaranteed you, when the Switch 2 comes out, the Switch shop is going to be shut down in about a year or two. I would give it 3 years at max. It's going to be gone because Nintendo really chops down on their digital shops. They like, gone, you have to buy everything back on the new eShop. So you should be very alarmed about this because it's not something that I think is healthy for game preservation, which I'm a huge advocate for. So many games are just not preserved anymore or lost to time because of either stingy practices like with the Mario Battle Royale game, or just people not having the tools available to preserve these games, because sometimes just preserving the games is a hard and difficult task. Look what happened with Primal Rage 2. How long it took for people to make it available to the public so people can actually play that game. There's a great video by Matt McMuscles. I highly recommend you look it up. Just type in Primal Rage 2 and it shows how difficult that game alone was to just bring it to the community so they knew that it existed and they could enjoy and play it. But yeah, I know I got a little like scattered brained here and a lot of like passionate arguments here and there, but this is something that really annoys me. And if you're not going to sell the game anymore, just put it up there for free, I guess. I don't know, because this just seems like such a waste. Like, who are you helping? Who's going to care? Like, you don't even want to sell the game anymore. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe there should be an option where they could just give away the game for free to someone, like on a one of those vaporware websites where you can play games like Croc, which is considered abandonware. Like, Croc is considered abandonware, and you can literally go to a website, I forgot what it's called, but I think it's abandonware something, and you can download and play these abandonware games, and I think they should do that. Like, if you're not going to sell it, just give it away to free and let everyone else enjoy it. I don't know, maybe it's just that I'm too hopeful. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you have a chance to play Spec Ops The Line, I highly recommend it, but it's removed on digital stores everywhere, which sucks. But God, it sucks. Anyway, like, dislike, your choice. Hopefully I get back to 100% soon, but I am trying to stream Suicide Squad, but right now I have to get through Poppy's playtime and all that. But yeah, I'll stop rambling. Goodbye.